get started now. Just ask you to turn off your cell phones if you don't mind, or if you do mind. Okay, good morning and thanks for coming. I appreciate giving up your Sunday to attend this meeting. I think it's important. We've got a fairly ambitious agenda today, and we're going to be moving along at a fairly brisk pace. There will be an opportunity for Q&A at the end of each speaker's presentation. So if you have any questions or whatever, then that'll be your opportunity. Then we'll break coffee at about 10:15 or so, 10:30. And then around 12:15 we'll break for lunch. After lunch we will discuss the results of the survey we sent out, which I think you'll find quite revealing. And after that we'll move into the open mic portion of the meeting. Now, first a little explanation of who we are and how we anticipate fulfilling our mandate. After the election in November, the Mayors and Press Council formed the Sustainable Economic Development Select Committee. It was felt to be effective we had to reach out beyond Caswell's boundary and include all of Area D as well. The terms of reference for this committee can be found on the Village of Caswell website. So to that end, our committee now looks like this. We have 4 council members who are present today. Susan Hewitt, Jim Holland, Mayor Lay, and myself. 2 Area D reps, Amy Watson, who wasn't able to be here today, and Deb Horses. From the Chamber of Commerce, we have Steve Hoffer. From the Caswell Community Forest Society, John Addison, who is up north teaching. And from Selkirk College, Deborah Hamilton. So that is our committee as it stands. The Chamber of Commerce is a key player in this partnership. They were able to secure a $10,000 grant from CPT that will be used to facilitate this endeavor, and is in fact paying for our lunch and our business that we're doing here today. So thank you to CPT for your cooperation. Now that is who we are, and what is our objective? Behind me is a mission statement that we adopted at our last meeting. And I think you can all read it. We have to the end of the 2012 to report back to Council with the results of our research. This is a fairly ambitious timetable when you consider it is almost May. So what is our plan? Armed with the information that we take away from this session today, we hope to identify several projects which would be suitable for Caswell and Area D. In other words, projects that are economically viable and environmentally sustainable. These projects would be vetted through the committee using a multitude of criteria that we're still in the process of developing. As well, and perhaps more important, we need to address the concerns of our existing businesses. And again, through the survey and today's session, we hope we can gain some insight into the challenges that our businesses are facing. I think we can talk more after lunch about how the committee can function. But again, without community input, we can have no hope of achieving our goal. So I think that's enough for me. I would like to read a letter that was given to me by Director Andy Shadrack, who is on his way to Europe this morning to meet with his brother. So the letter goes like this. We are unable to attend this meeting due to previously arranged commitments, but want to congratulate the committee of the Village Council for taking on the issue of economic development for our valley at the north end of Kootenay Lake, for Waterloo and Duncan Valleys. Our first observation is that many would-be entrepreneurs, especially young ones, face a huge obstacle in finding the capital necessary to get started. And as a solution, we think there's a need for organizations like Kootenay Savings and the Columbia Basin Trust to assist in the development of a new or young entrepreneurs fund. Not unlike the Green Foundation or Kiva, who offer microloans to small-scale family businesses around the globe. Secondly, we believe that these businesses starting out and are proposing to move here to this part of the community need local mentors to assist them. Thirdly, we as a community need to develop a list of businesses and services missing from the fabric of our community, thus determining where we can replace imports with locally grown and made goods and services. One of the advantages of the work of our committee is having the ability to develop the essential groundwork of understanding our unique economic picture. In such a rural and remote series of communities, we do not fit in the most boxes of conventional economic development. If we are to excel in determining our future, it will be essential for us to understand our unique economic picture. Fourthly, we need to engage our friends and neighbors in a discussion about what kinds of businesses and services we want to attract and develop in our small regional economy, ones that add to the social fabric of our community, leave a positive economic legacy, and fit in with our lake and mountain environment. In this regard, we ask the community to review the RDCK's electoral area B, North Leafy Lake and Otter Valley OCP survey results from April 2003. In particular, we believe there is support for 1, revitalization of locally produced fruits, vegetables, and meat. 2, value-added wood products from ecologically sustainable harvesting methods, including energy from wood waste. 3, development of home-based businesses and services in the surrounding unincorporated communities that the rural residential character of some of the communities. In conclusion, we wish you well in your day's deliberations and look forward to hearing and sharing the results. Andy Shadrack, February 8th. Okay, so our first speaker of the day will be His Worship Greg Blade, who I understand is having a birthday today. So big man.
But I want a present. I don't need that.
Anyway, I think everybody can hear me. Do I need this mic to the back? Can you hear me? Okay. As your mayor, I am thankful you've given up your time today to join together for discussions on sustainable community economic development. To help set the tone of this get-together, I want to share with you 2 thoughts. My first thought was instilled in me by my father, often told me, there is no such thing as it can't be done, and the impossible takes a little longer. This man was involved in the Second World War. He saw incredible change in a short period of time and was encouraged as a Canadian to never give up on good efforts. The second thing was no such things that can't be done, and the impossible takes a little longer. The second thought, which I share with my children, we're trying to instill in them, our family spells can't. C-A-N, period. I'm kind of moving ahead on that a little bit, but with teenagers, it's a little hard to get them to subscribe to the idea that they can't do anything. So your council and the committee are here to listen to your thoughts and ideas. Please share with us the opportunities and challenges you see for Caswell Area D. I would like to be able to celebrate my birthday with some really executable, good ideas of how economic activity can bring prosperity to our community. So thank you for coming, and let's get on with it. I can do that.
We'll be stick with the agenda. Terry should be here. Or Hillary should be here.
Jim, are you ready then? No? Okay. Our next speaker is Jim Holland, who's going to talk to us about Jazz Fest for one, I'm sure.
And I'm going to try without the microphone also, because
because I can't tell all. If you can't hear me, just.
Oh, yeah.
So, I've only done a couple presentations in my career. And you guys get to be my track, so I'd love to do this for a living. First off, some of you may not know who I am completely. I'm Jim Holland. I live in Caswell for a little over 30 years. I raised 3 children here, and I love Caswell, and I came here because I wanted to do it. Currently, I'm a full-time employed with Ontario Health Authority as a college member on Trinity Hospital. I'm also under service agreement contract with Caswell Gas and Sewage Society as executive director and operations manager. In the past, I've operated businesses in Caswell, a silviculture business, a contracting business, and also a line equipment business. I'm councilor of the Village of Caswell, director of the Community Futures Central Kootenai, and I'm the chair of the Kootenai Columbia Festival Events Association. I'm not an expert, really. I've been asked to speak today about arts and festivals, and I'm not an expert in these areas. What I really can bring to this room here and hopefully assist and contribute in a good way to this is as 20 years of experience running Caswell Jazz Festival. And I got a degree from the University of Hard Knocks, which counts pretty good on accomplishing something like that, because you can ask me what to do wrong and I can tell you exactly everything to do wrong in that. And I'm still learning and moving forward on that field and becoming a little better at that. The first thing I want to do is change the topic. When I sat down 2 recently, actually, to look at what I was asked to speak on arts and festivals. There's a big giant break in between and a jump kind of from arts to festivals. And that the real key importance of indicator are culture and heritage. So really what I'm talking about is arts, culture, and heritage, festivals slash festivals and events. That's on my PowerPoint that I couldn't get really much. So arts, culture, heritage, festivals, and events. And most of the information, because I'm not an expert, most of the information that you're going to hear if I'm speaking about some of the generalities, I would like to reference and give credit to Mike Stolte, who's the Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurial Leadership down in Washington, D.C. I've seen him do several presentations, and that's where most of my facts come from, that I relate back to. So it's not my stuff, it's his stuff. And I highly recommend checking out his website. He's got something called Tourism 360 that communities and groups can use as a sort of a tool for developing where you're at and your progress and how to move forward on tourism. Economic development requires a whole suite of actions to make a well-rounded community. Now I'm going to focus on arts, culture, and heritage. And I'm speaking to these things in exclusion of what we see as more typical stuff, but I am don't want this to be misrepresented by what I say that I'm leaving those out wrong. I'm just really focusing on arts, culture, and heritage. The only case study I know of well is the Caswell Jazz Festival, which I've done for a long time. And so I'm going to keep quick facts around that. For that, I'm going to reference the Michigan Tourism Economic Impact Model. It was developed by the University of Michigan. It's a really great tool for anybody else that's involved in events and festivals. I would highly recommend this. Get in touch with me. I can tell you how to source this out. It works really good. So coming from that, you probably remember a fellow named Vern Sparks that lived in our community for a while. He was on our board. He was retired Dean of Communications from Syracuse University in New York. Over a period of 5 years, he gathered data and did surveys done on our festival site. This data is from between 2000 and 2004. He averaged the data over 5 years, inputted it into this little economic model, and popped out these numbers I'm going to give you now. They're old numbers. They go back to 2004, but I think they're still credible for just a magnitude, get an idea of the magnitude of what kind of impact this is. The gross budget of the Jazz Festival runs right around $250,000 annually. That's kind of our annual budget. And the calculations used for this are based on what they call 5,000 party night visits. In other words, that's one person might come 3 times a year. So that's over the full year. The average person spending coming out of this economic model is $163 per person. The total visitor spending amounts to $820,000. And that's using a multiplier developed in here of 1.4. And I'd like to offer a comparison. The last time I checked this, told information. If somebody gets off a cruise ship in Vancouver, steps off the dock and walks around Vancouver and does it over and get back on, the multiplier is 7. So we're using multiplier 1.4 because we are in a different type of situation. But I think that's quite low. So these numbers are really conservative. The bigger story on the total impacts of not just the Jazz Festival, but all, and again, these numbers go back to the Jazz Festival, but you can extrapolate that into all festivals and events. The total and indirect sales of $820,000 includes a component of $411,000 that goes directly into personal incomes. That's an equivalent of 18 full-time jobs in this community in that weekend business. So the bakery staff's up, the other businesses staffed up for that weekend. If you put it all together, we can call it 18 jobs. Which to me, when I read this, actually I present this in public very seldom because it's Chinese funny numbers, but it's hard to comprehend how this really works out. But these are conservative estimates. And that's just one of the events we have. We have May Days, Light Up, July 1st, Summerfest, Art Walk, and more. So that's kind of what, if we talk about the hard side, the stuff we want to see on the balance sheet, the profit loss statement, that's what we get out of arts, culture, and heritage, and festival events in our community. There's another side of all this. We'd like to have a quick word about multiplier effects with regard to the nonprofit sector. The nonprofit sector is the primary one that does festival events in our area, probably most areas. The public and private sector support arts, culture, and heritage festivals. When you support these events, these nonprofit organizations, including these ones, you have a much greater output dollar for dollar, the dollar that goes in, than you do investments in more traditional private sector. And the reason is, I believe, largely, when you look at volunteer endeavors, volunteer-driven endeavors, they produce a higher return because it's hard to do the fact that you've got free laborers and you complement of what you're supporting to make these contributions. This golf clubhouse is a great example of that. The amount of support that came from the community and from the business from that point are here and produce so much more involved benefit than if it was strictly a private sector driven enterprise. I hope it's a little hard for me because I'm not really explain this well, but I hope I can be able to try to say that. And NPOs that produce these events and projects like this one are mandated by law to keep any generated assets in the community. Those assets cannot be relocated like the private sector business could do. If the Caswell Reno Association up there decided that, you know what, we could make a hell of a lot more money running a skating rink in Kelowna, we're going to move our operations from one to Kelowna because we're driven by money, that would be, if it was a private sector business, they could do that. But since it's a community organization, they can't do that. They're required by law. Those assets have to stay in the community. If tomorrow they were to back it in, decide not to work, those assets would be transferred to another nonprofit or charitable organization's community. They can't be this community. So every dollar you contribute to these type of endeavors stays in this community. So if that relates back to this multiplier effect, this multiplier effect is really more about an open marketplace kind of thing where the money can kind of go out the door and keeps going. When you put a buck into a nonprofit organization, especially with this, that dollar stays. The multiplier effect, even the numbers that I read off seem kind of stupid almost. They're really not indicative of what happens when you invest in these types of arts and culture and heritage endeavors, because that 100% of that money stays in your community forever and gets used over and over in all those assets. So why festivals and events based on arts and culture and heritage in our community so important? I think there's two answers to that. First is the part that we've been talking about up to now. It's the thing that you see in the profit loss and balance sheet. At the end of the day, you can measure it, it's trackable, it's solid, it's there. And part of that comes through supporting the economy. Is what these events do is they bring visitors. So we know the best way to build an economically viable community is to attract residents. And how do you attract residents? Well, But what we know is that the number one way that people come visit this community is to see family and friends. So for family and friends connection, that's the number one way we're going to bring more residents to this community. The second reason that people come to this area is through tourism. So tourism attracts and builds a visitation, and that's another factor that brings residents to your community. That's where we're from. And the number one reason that tourists come to our area is for cultural experience. Cultural experiences are festivals and events, or art galleries, or museums, arenas, hockey tournaments, and that. So those events are the most productive and viable way that we actually have some control over increasing visitations to our community and increasing potential residents. It's nice that we all have family and friends and our family and friends, but really we want to be proactive in economic development avenues that surround the cultural experience and industries. That is sort of the number side of the game that's easy for us to track, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on it. I want to talk about the other side. I'm going to go 2 minutes. Okay. Festivals and events are manifestations and expression of the arts, culture, and heritage of the residents of our community. May Days is a long-standing celebration that attracts visitors, but even more importantly, it builds and reinforces the fabric of our community. And I believe this is much important for these people to just being the way to generate visitations to our community. May Days is a part of the heart and soul of who we are. Which brings me to a quick discussion about social capital. In our efforts to create a strong economy, we have to recognize more than just the bottom line. I believe most of us choose to live here not for the great financial opportunities, but because we love this place and we're very happy to live here. So there must be other factors we need to account for, and that is what I've recently heard referred to as social capital. So on the balance sheet, if we could have a social capital margin, that would measure something that is intrinsic, that's very important in this discussion. We make an investment of our time, labor, and lives to this community. And from this investment, we receive a return, or what we could call social profit. And when we include that social profit in our bottom line, it makes much more sense why we live here. Arts, culture, and heritage festival events are mostly a labor of love that pays off not in hard cash, but in social profit. Caswell has a very high level of return on its social investments, and it's critical to our sustainability, the longevity, and the resilience of this community to be sure and understand the importance of that when we do things like economic development. Final statement, I almost took all this and wrapped it up in this one little succinct statement, and then I looked up the clock and it was 5 and 9 and holy crap. So, to come at some point in the future, wrap it all up in some issue. But basically, the important thing I want to stress is there is a social aspect of what we're doing here around economic development. Be sure to take a look at that. Our arts and culture and heritage are the heart of the community. We build fabric through our activities. These activities are expressed and manifested through our events and festivals, which in turn brings visitation. I don't know how many times, the first few years I did the Jazz Festival, I had 2 questions. Number 1, where's the best place to eat? Number 2, what's the price of real estate? And I know for sure I had to go to that activity. There were a few families that relocated to Caswell because their first experience was coming to the event. So the economic spin-off of that, where a person moves here and creates an economy around them, that's pretty significant. That people dedicated to a place will create an economy. And I'm not so sure that we can create economies to attract people and have what we have here. You can have that in Fort McMurray. In Caswell, we got something to do.
Any questions for Jim? Rod?
Yeah, I just wanted to, you went over the benefits quite well, Jim. I think there's other costs that we don't necessarily take into account, and I know, talking to people that work for the emergency services and stuff, extra cost of policing and extra cost of ambulance services during the festival has got quite significant over the years. And it's not because of the festival itself necessarily, or the Jazz Fest. It's other things that come with it, like rave parties and stuff like that. So I just wonder, it's not a, I guess, a clean thing like discussed. There's other things that happen around it. event also gets too big for the ability of our emergency services to handle it, that's another issue, right? So we have to, there has to be some sort of way of balancing that. So from a cost benefit point of view, I think the cost of emergency services has to be measured from revenue, to be realistic about total impact on the community.
And I would agree, and that's a huge issue that's recognized within the festival industry. I mentioned that I was chair of the Cookie Columbia Festival Events Association. We're doing a lot of work on that exact front, trying to mitigate and understand what some of the real costs and real impacts around that. We're working closely with one of the partnership, one of the committee members is Wayne Hall, the police chief of Nelson City, Nelson Police Department. We have RCP representation, we have public safety representatives, and we're discussing ways to mitigate and address those issues. I think in balance, it's still very much on the positive side of it. If we just look at the revenue side of it, it's still very much an economic generator. But we have to understand and build our events not to over-impact the community. Jazz Festival, I'm only saying, talking about that, really I want to talk about all events, but I can speak specifically to Jazz Festival. We put a cap on our attendance down at the site of 1,800 per day. We've had events in Castle where we brought in big name acts, when we did the Blue Rodeo or Soprano Fantasy, and we've seen what happens to Castle when we put 2,000 people per day in our community. It's not acceptable. And we understand, we live here too. So sizing these events to be appropriate to the community and finding that balance where you tread and you still make money, that's a tough chore. And it's a great thing that we actually have a lot of volunteer-driven effort doing that, because if it was a private enterprise, it would not be here. And I think this community is better off having these events than not. It's just a matter of skill. I think, for the most part, even with the Jazz Festival, we're doing pretty good on that balance of staying economically viable, generating revenues for the community, and not overburdening the services because I agree with the issue.
Have you had any ideas on how to do something in the winter time for the social housing aspect you're talking about? Anything, or are we limited by facilities?
Well, yes, and yes. What we want to do, and I'm extremely, this is my passion. I love community. I love seeing things happen in the community. So what you got to do is build on what's already existing. The hockey tournament, curling, the winter sports, community forest did a great job of pushing forward for a few years on the winter and the forest festival. That was an excellent idea. Those kind of endeavors in the wintertime can be highly successful. What it takes at the end of the day, quite honestly, is there has to be a visionary. So in the example of the Jazz Society event, I'm the visionary around what the Jazz Festival can be in the community. That in itself provides some continuity that has to span years. So if it's a winter in the forest, or it's hockey tournaments, or curling club tournaments, if you can find that person who's willing to make, ideally, a 5-year commitment, push that forward and make it happen, then those can be developed. And it's great to see what the community is doing. The pieces are all in the air. They're all there. All the possibilities and potential is there. It's a matter of bringing them together, having that one person to sit in this room, in his home, wherever he's at, and keep bringing them back to the table, keep bringing them on in order, because it takes the organization. It really takes that point person. Sometimes it could be community force can take the lead as an example, but it takes that lead. And then once you get after about a 5-year window of establishing your brand, establishing your market, people get to know you better, you get their return plans out, where the model starts to get you. At that point, you have to go either professional or semi-professional, where you got to actually start paying. Now, community force got to that point where they pay it for the area when they're in the forest, and they can start to go to jail. And I think you should come in.
Can I follow up on that?
Yeah.
As far as the economic impact, hockey tournaments, especially the younger kids, work really well for the downtown. As it gets older, it doesn't impact as many of the businesses that the crowds tend to get magnetized into a few locations. Sometimes it's right up at the meeting itself. Then look at Winchton and Force, it pulls it all out of Castle. And if you want to look at a multiplier effect, it's actually a negative. It has been the experience for the last few years.
This is exciting. This is exciting data and feedback. That when you get a core, when you get that visionary, when you get that point, they take this data, this information, and they continually reapply it as the event remanifests itself over time. And these specific issues are addressed, and you turn it into a positive. Where we fail is when you have this information, this report back to us, that we don't have the continuity, that next year somebody can start this thing up and make all the same damn mistakes over again. I like, what's that? They got that crazy thing about keep doing the same way every time, and I never get a good result, all they have wrong. So, that's where these events, in order to really have the best outcomes of these events, you've got to have that continuity so that this input, and somehow, you've got to keep this in the collective consciousness and memory around these events so that they're addressed. Because, you know, these are small. In the scheme of things, the issues that you're raising around these, they're small relative to what it is to stage those events.
Right. Yeah, it's just, some of them are worthwhile, seeing stage from the impact financial community, but the impact that it has on the livability here, you know, there's that seesaw, because a lot of people love going to Winter in the Forest with the kids and getting on a horse with Tom and, you know, and all that sort of stuff.
There are very, very simple ways to incorporate downtown or into those activities. And again, part of why I helped establish the Cuban Columbia Festival Events Association to deal with this, offer expertise, mentorship, resources, resource sharing, equipment knowledge, all this stuff that we don't need to be doing just on our own. In fact, the Jazz Society's creeping along here as an example of this, because our infrastructure, what we've accumulated over years, the assets we've built, far outweighs what we actually produce. We have got to produce more as an organization, or we're going to be unsustainable. We've done a great job of building this thing up, and that goes for all organizations. We have to cooperate, there has to be more collaboration, there'll be much greater success in this one. Deborah and I spend many hours in the rooms cheering each other on and jumping up there trying to make it. And it will happen. It just takes those core community leaders.
So are you talking about having an economic development officer financed? Is that really what we're talking about here?
At this point, I would say no. I think right now what I see is we have what's being done by community. And it's awesome that the village of Casco stepped up to do that. And we're edging on another question I'm very close to moving forward with the council is that I believe we need a cultural development officer done by committee. And still weeds here, I'll tell you that I have a proposal that's ready to go forward to council, and I'm trying to get a good solid foundation to really do that around a model based on what we're doing around cultural development. And somehow I think in the right climate, they can be designed to be done by one committee, but we're not quite there yet. I would like to see this economic development and what we're doing here gel and get to a place before we get on that. And I was prepared to bring that forward immediately when I got on my council. This popped up, so we're in the such stuff now. But that's in the wings on its way.
Okay, I think we have to move on if we're going to stay anywhere close to on schedule. We are going to have the open mic session after lunch, in which case we can come back and revisit some of these issues. So thank you very much, Jim.
Mal, are you getting all of this on the tape recorder?
Yep.
And so Jim's talking loud enough so that we can go back over we're
It's about 50% on the levels.
Fast enough to get them down. But if I can get access to the tape afterwards, then I know I can hopefully after my birthday sit down and get some of these important ideas done. So you're getting it all?
Yeah, totally.
Thank you, Mal.
All right, our next speaker will be Steve Hofford, who is going to talk about tourism.
No, Lord, if Jimmy doesn't need a mic, then there's no way I'll ever need a mic. I thought that was really great, eh? Jim did an awesome job, and already in the morning here, after the first presentation, it inspired some questions and some feedback that I think we're going to be able to move forward with and provide some direction and provide some tangible solutions for what we're going to be capable of doing. I think that what he touched on too, before I get into my presentation too, is just being able to clarify that very important word that sits in front of economic development on our committee name, and that's community. And the community, essentially, to shorten it up, states basically that economic development needs to be combined with a social conscience and a social recognition of things that are appropriate for our community, not just picking and choosing things that are going to be profitable regardless of the impact on the culture, on the people, on the environment. The community part of community economic development focuses exclusively on ensuring that there is a recognition of the importance of the impact on the broader scope of the community as well as just the bottom line. And I think that really tied well into what you were talking about in terms of social capacity and being aware of what your impact is on the community as you're trying to build an appropriate economic developer. There was a lot of things that Jim talked about in the tourism game there, or in the festival game that ties into tourism, and I'll dive right into my presentation now. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Steve Wofford. I'm here today to talk about tourism and as the president of the Chamber of Commerce here in Castle and area, and a member of the what's our committee called? The Sustainable Community Economic Development Select Committee. We had, I think Amy called it SCEDS the other day, which I think we might have to shorten it up to because that sounds really slick, eh? I know that everybody in this room is aware of the amazing product that we have here in Castle. We have unbelievable scenery, unbelievable environment. We have a plethora of activities available, both indoor and outdoor. We have a beautiful downtown shopping core. We have activities that span the summer, we have activities that span the fall, we have that span the spring, and whether they're on the water, on the street, in the winter, in the summer, we have just a never-ending opportunity to bring people to the area and share with them the experience that is Castle. But I don't need to spend a ton of time on that. Everybody here lives here, they work here, they spend time here, they know exactly what we bring to the table in terms of our product. So what I want to talk about today is tourism in the general whole and how it benefits the community. As far as economic benefits of tourism, there's no doubt that it creates jobs, both indirectly and directly. You have people that are employed by companies that are serving the tourism base right in front of them. They're standing right across and they're taking the money from the tourists and putting it into the community. But you also have indirect employment. Tourism operators who have businesses in the area need services, they need supplies, they need to work with companies that don't seem like they're impacted by tourism, but they are because the people in the tourism industry are gaining the money from the external visitors that are coming into the area and utilizing that funds to build their business, to supply their people, and therefore enhancing the business that, like I said, doesn't necessarily have a direct contact with the tourism. Increased spending. Visitors who come to the area spend their money in the area. That money circulates throughout the community, and again, both directly and indirectly influences increased spending within the community itself. It also promotes economic diversification. Tourism business operators and visitors are directly related to the product that we offer here in the community, but it also spurns off into different industries. As a festival grows or a company that offers a tourism product grows, it requires services. It may start out by gathering those services, gathering those supplies from outside the community because those things are available to them. But as it grows, as it builds, as it becomes more profitable, there's a recognition for other businesses that could potentially service the tourism sector, whether it's a hardware supply store or a food supply store, whatever the case may be. There's an opportunity then for businesses to spurn up that would supply the tourism sector with the necessary elements to make their businesses successful. I got a little worried there because Jim spent some time talking about the multiplier effect, and I was like, oh goodness, you know, I hardly ever have anything to say, and Jim's stealing a whole section. I knew that would get a laugh. People know me too well, apparently. talked about, it's very important to understand that the multiplier effect talks about the circulation of money within the community. So I'm a visitor, I've come to Caslow, I'm here for the Jazz Festival, I've given my money for my tickets, I've given my money to the restaurant so I can eat food. The money doesn't just stop there. The people who have taken the money from me are using it to pay their employees, they're using it to buy their services, they're using it to buy their supplies. The multiplier effect is something that is totally unilateral in terms of its impact on any tourism product in the world. The one thing that Caslow has above all others in a sense of how that money circulates throughout the community, and this is a light thing for a lot of domestic tourism products here in Canada, but is the concept of leakage. Leakage is the amount of money of that dollar that I give to the Jazz Festival or give to a tourism product here in the community that exits the community. So if we take something in the neighborhood of $100, that's an easy number so we can do some math. I've taken $100 and I've given it to the village of Caslow. Here in Caslow, it's estimated that the actual leakage of those funds is less than 10%. That means that under $10 of my $100 is exiting the community. If you go to a country like Thailand or Hawaii even, almost 80% of that money is leaving the area. It's coming into the community from visitors, it's being handed off to organizations that are owned by conglomerates outside of that area, outside of the community, outside of the region, outside of the country. We don't have that issue here in Caslow. Our people work here, our businesses are owned by people who work here, they employ people who live here. So the money that comes into the community that's handed from a visitor to a business stays in the community until it gets down to that $7 or $8 that we happen to spend outside on whatever it is that we've gone for a jaunt to pick up, or a service or a supply that doesn't exist here in Caslow. So the importance of building up tourism in terms of the multiplier effect is to know that the tourism dollars that are coming into the community are staying in the community, they're building up the community, they're being put into the hands of people who live and work here in the community. Tourism Caslow area. It was reported in 2006 that over 50% of the population of Caslow and Area D work in businesses directly related to the tourism industry. Whether those are service businesses or retail businesses, food service, clothing sales, retail, whatever it is, over 50% of this population is currently employed in the tourism sector. And that's not counting the people that are employed because the tourism sector bolsters the local economy in a way that they're able to improve their revenues and improve their profits throughout the course of the year. With that in mind, we should be noted that it was reported to us a little while ago that tourism numbers in the past several years have dropped by over 20%. That means that there's 20% less people bringing their $100, with 90 of which stays in this community every year. So there's an opportunity for us. We can look at that as a negative, we can look at it and say, oh, what are we going to do? Well, there is an opportunity. We have a plethora of things, like I said. Our product is absolutely amazing. These are just the tangible physical buildings and sites and things outside of the environment that we have to attract people here. Museums, art galleries, historic sites, shops, a wonderful arrangement of lodging options, beautiful restaurants and pubs, one of which we're standing in right at the moment, and I know there's some representatives of others in the area that are offering some great products. So we have an opportunity to build a tourism base here. We know what the numbers were, and we know what they are now. I'm sure most of you are feeling that. You can see it, you can recognize it, and it presents us with an opportunity to say, okay, let's get back to those numbers, let's build past those numbers so that we can reap the benefits of that. So that brings me to how I feel that the community can assist in those matters. I am a very, very large advocate for us all working together. In a larger center, we don't have the luxury of working together. You have so many people with so many different priorities, so many different jobs, that they're not in a position that they can all help each other. Here in Caslow, for the most part, a lot of us, especially those of us sitting in this room, have the ability to make a direct impact on the success of our neighbors, the success of our friends, and the success of our family. So the important part of what we're doing here today is building that community communication and generating those ideas so that we can work together in the future and collaborate on building a better product and building a more sustainable economic condition here in Caslow. So I'd like to invite everybody to take advantage of some of the things that we're doing as a Chamber of Commerce and that other local businesses are doing. Get involved in the conversation, help build the product, help share the product. You can come on Facebook and use Facebook to distribute beautiful pictures, beautiful videos of our area, sharing the experience with people so that even before they get here, they know what they can expect when they come to Castle, when they come to the area, when they come to the Kootenays. That's a very large part of my mind, how to grow the industry, and part of why we're here today, part of why I'm here, is to generate some new ideas, some fun ideas, and to get people excited about what we offer here, and continue to work together so that we can build that. At the Chamber of Commerce, we're just one of many organizations that leverage a variety of resources. We are fortunate enough to have a modest marketing budget that we leverage with wonderful organizations like Columbia Basin Trust. We do partnerships with local area advertisers and external advertisers so that we can offer better rates on advertising for local business. We work with organizational tourism groups like Kootenay Rockies. We utilize a very, very passionate volunteer base to operate festivals, to generate new ideas and implement new initiatives. The Chamber of Commerce, for instance, has 11 board members right now that are all volunteers, volunteering their time and their expertise to help assist the tourism product and the business product here in Caslo. We also have involved ourselves with the destination marketing organization, which is called the Nelson Kootenay Lake DMO. And I'm going to talk about them for a little while because this is an organization that actually does have the budget and actually does have the leverage to be able to go out there and promote this product to the entire world. So for a very modest 2% on all room nights, we built a budget with Nelson Kootenay Lake that I know Deborah's worked very, very hard on, along with the group there, and they have a budget of over $100,000 that they're able to generate interest and create awareness for the tourism product in the area. You can see the mandate out there is to market this region as a distinct four-season tourism destination on behalf of its stakeholders and communities, in partnership with its membership, Kootenay Rockies Tourism and Tourism British Columbia, to create an awareness within our communities as to the importance of and the long-term value of tourism as a sustainable growth economic sector for the region. So you know that you can know that they're out there, they're doing what they can do, and that we're contributing to that in a way that is going to continue to build this product up over time. I want to finish off today just by talking about the future. I think that as we build this product and as the Chamber of Commerce becomes stronger and the people of this community come together and work collectively towards building a better tourism product and creating more awareness for that tourism product, we can set goals to surpass the numbers that we used to have in terms of annual visitors and build right up to it and then get past it. There's no reason we can't do that. We were there before and we can get there again and we can get better than that. We talked a little bit about in terms of arts and festivals assisting in developing that four-season tourism. There are shoulder seasons in this community and there's a dead season. I don't know if that's the best word for it, but it's probably the most accurate description. Spring and fall start to get a little bit quieter, and winter is a very, very quiet time for a lot of us. Even though we have some that beautiful scenery doesn't go anywhere, it just changes colors. We have a lot of beautiful activities and the businesses stay open. We can continue to drive people to this area during those seasons. That's very important for the success of the tourism industry overall. The growth of the tourism industry, as I mentioned, assists in the health and success of businesses in the area. It also creates new jobs, it creates dynamic jobs, it creates jobs for people that provide them with training that they can take anywhere on the planet. Knowing how to make a sale to somebody or how to talk to somebody, how to provide them with excellent service, understanding a product, understanding how a business works. It's a unique experience that Castle can offer far more so than if you were working in the front desk for a major hotel chain. Here in Castle, you're lucky enough as an employee that you understand the inner workings of the business because of how closely you work with the owners. And that's a very nice thing, and it's something that all of our employees can be very proud of, and all of our employers can be very proud to be able to offer to their employees. And again, tying back into the whole community part of it, it's very important to us that our tourism product remain in tune with the culture of the area, with the character and history of Caslo, and that's what's essential when we're talking about building a bigger industry and building a growth industry in the tourism sector, is to stay true to everything that made us what we are today. And you can see from a lot of our branding and a lot of our initiatives that is exactly what we're trying to do. And of course, again, inviting people to contribute their ideas and contribute their time so that we can continue to execute on these initiatives, build on these initiatives, come up with new and fun plans for how we can spread the message of what Casloan area is and the experience that it offers. That's it, I believe. I think I did that under 12 minutes, and I bet you I said about 300 words a minute. So I hope everybody was We're happy to have any questions, and of course, any ideas. John?
Well, I hate to throw a little bit of a wet blanket on this stuff. I don't think your multiplier, well, tourism's great, my business survives it. But I think your multiplier is closer to 2 or 3.
Sorry?
The multiplier on a tourist dollar is closer to 2 or 3, it's not 10.
I didn't say it was 10, I said 10%.
Oh, okay, well,
Which I think would actually.
when I look at my business, the tourist dollar comes in the door, the first thing that happens to it is 12 to 14% gets shipped off the government. HST, area, tourism fund. The next thing is it probably comes into our restaurant, that's where the bulk of it comes. And immediately I'm sending off 30 to 40% to either Major Cisco, Gordon Foods, that's leaving the community, or it's going to Nelson Brewing Company, or it's going to Budweiser, or it's going to one of my suppliers, but that's in 30 or 40%. Then what gets left, a fair amount of it goes out to insurance, a fair amount of it goes out to Fortis, East Hampton, a fair amount of it goes out to Suburban Propane, East Hampton. We're not giving half of each dollar stays in the tenant for the second term. That's employment of my workers, and it's things that I buy here in the community. But the multiplier for money coming into the Caslow Hotel is probably about 2. Meaning that about half of it stays in the community, about half of it goes out. That's not bad, but that's what happens.
Fair enough. And I can appreciate that. Obviously, different businesses have different costs and different things, and I'm not sure what the basis of that 10% was. I have a feeling it was probably after tax. It makes sense to me, and that's probably what decreased that value. I think the important thing to think of when it comes to the multiplier effect is more than just what those actual figures are, is how much the benefit of those tourism dollars have to the community. Yeah. That's right. Even if it is 50%, if it's 70%, frankly, if it's 90% of the money that leaves this community, that's still money that wasn't here to begin with, and money that we can utilize to build this area and invest in this area and help our people. And yeah, it's, numbers are a funny thing, aren't they? I can probably tell you that every business in this town is profitable if I had enough numbers and enough time to lie to you all. But yeah, and there's no doubt. There's definitely some external factors that pull the money out of the community that we can't really affect. But like I said, I think the important thing to note is again that those dollars that are coming in from outside the community, some of it is staying here, and it's important to continue to build on that.
John, you're actually talking about retention of money, and what you're talking about is multiplier, and they're different, and that's part of that retention. Those Fortis dollars stay here. We have Fortis jobs here. We also have Vulcans is an insurance company that stays here. A lot of that money does still stay in the community, but that's actually retaining that dollar, and the multiplier is actually all the other jobs that are supported by the groups that those dollars go over. So it's the indirect spend. The only thing I wanted to mention was, do you remember what the staff was that Terry provided in terms of the number of people who come here as tourists initially, and then stay?
Yeah, I don't remember the exact figure, but it's over 80%.
Yeah.
So it's pretty spectacular, actually. If I recollect correctly, it was 83, but nonetheless, it's a very large majority of the people that live and work and run businesses in this area started out as tourists, myself included, and I'm sure that there's plenty of people here that could raise their hands to support that statement. Yes?
One thing that is a concern that has to be dealt with the community of Montana, as you grow your tourism business, one of the issues is that the rate of pay isn't that great. And so that ties into where do you live, and when you rent, when you buy a house. And I think Mr. serenity, that's why we're not there yet, but I mean, I'm just saying that it's one of the restrictions we have in our area, and we just want people to understand that it's a real thing. If you go hire somebody, or John is hiring a chef, you hire a chef from outside the community, came here, can they find a place to live? And can they afford to find a place to live? Next question, as far as the wage is concerned, so I think that's, this is why I wanted to put out that there is going to be a restriction. The other issue is volunteerism, like we're depending on volunteerism for some of these events, which is great. But elsewhere in the province, volunteerism is dropping, and people are getting burnout. It's the same thing, the same people, sometimes doing it for a long period of time, which is good for continuity, but people do get burnout, and we need to address appreciating people who do volunteer work more than we do. I know a lot of people put a lot of time, and I have a lot of people who I'm sure have done a lot more deeply, but I'm just saying that we don't appreciate it enough, and it's a resource. If we don't do something to appreciate volunteers, we're going to lose it. Because other communities are dropping fast. I've lived in other communities where it dropped. And volunteers dropped by 50%. People don't know where it dropped. So a lot of this stuff. So I just like to say that that's recognized.
No, I agree with you completely. I know in the chamber we try to give each other a hearty pat on the back every once in a while, sometimes a big mushy hug to thank for all of the time and effort that we put in. And it's, I agree, that's very important. And I don't want to touch too much on the affordable housing issue. I know that was something that we wanted to address as a committee as a whole, because it was a couple of questions on there. Everybody is in the boat, and yes, the tourism and service industry don't traditionally pay extremely well. What they offer is an opportunity to gain a lot of experience, but of course, like you said, those people who are living here and working here need to be able to afford to stay here. So, yes.
I just wanted to speak to the comment about volunteers needing to be recognized more, and the Rick Hansen Man in Motion Tour just went through here, and they did a fabulous job all across the country recognizing volunteers and communities, and it's a great celebration, and it's a fabulous pay it forward way where people who do volunteer get recognized. They are going to volunteer again. And so that path back can go a long way. And there is a National Volunteer Week. And so that's something that every organization who has volunteers involved could focus on. And then, you know, we have over 70 service community groups in this tiny little area. And if we had a National Volunteer Celebration Week, everybody would be surprised and be motivated to work more again, and new people would be attracted to volunteer.
Sounds like a good idea for an event today. Yeah.
Just two quick questions. Sure. First of all, branding in the context of the Nelson North Kootenay Lake strategy, is there an opportunity for Caslo in context with that collective effort to carve out a unique brand for itself? I think that every time I drive back to Nelson and see what one man's opinion, billboards suck, I think. And then secondly, any thought, thinking specifically of tourism, of the possibility of having some sort of right-sized center, I don't want to call it a convention center, but a place where a group, let's say, might be persuaded to come to the council in February, combining with, let's say, a heli skiing opportunity or something, but could also hold its meetings for its 30 or 40 or, you know, whatever the right size group for our capacity might be, in or near the downtown core. Because that's missing right now. I think John's operation is the only place that could take any kind of group of any size, and what you can have what, maybe 20 people in that room of yours, John?
Well, we could, in winter time, we could really move and push
So maybe he just needs to rebrand that little convention center.
You're pretty flexible.
This building is open year round. Yeah. Okay. But I think for some groups, in fact, I know for a fact that's not very well known.
Yeah. And that actually ties into an exercise that we're going to engage in very shortly after this. Is something that's called asset mapping. And I think it's pretty well named, because I think it makes a ton of sense. And that's basically going through this community with fine-tooth comb and determining what we have available, what we don't have available, what could be available, so forth and on, and it ties in good. As far as branding goes, yeah, the Chamber of Commerce went through a branding exercise a few years back. We're still ironing that out. You know, the billboard that you're speaking of has a tagline on it, "Shop, Eat, Stay, and Play," which was a tagline that was spurned off from a Shop Local campaign that our members put on for the downtown core. As far as building on that brand, I think the opportunity is there. As far as working with an organization like the Nelson Cooney Lake DMO to build on that brand, the opportunity is there. And something that is planned to be explored, will be explored, and continue to build on. Of course, that's where we encourage people to communicate with the chamber, myself, or anybody else that's on the chamber board, ideas. And of course, as chamber members, you're more than welcome to come to our board meetings and offer that as an agenda item so that we can sit and talk about different branding opportunities and how we can encompass the unique product that we have here into a concise message that we can broadcast to the world. And yeah, we are working on that, trying to get to that point. And I think we've done a nice job. Like the logo and the coloring is great. The website for Catholic Chamber is magnificent. But there's always an opportunity. Always.
Okay,
yeah, I'm happy to answer any other questions. We're pushing already over time, so maybe we can, maybe somebody, if they have any more questions, can catch me in the coffee period. Does that sound okay?
That's something I was hoping would be addressed right
Sure.
Very quickly. Getting people here is a wonderful thing. It's something we all want to do from a tourism perspective, but let us be realistic. If they show up after 5 o'clock, where are they going to go to find their information? The visitor center is closed, so I guess let's go to Mohawk. Well, that's reality. Or if we're lucky, they'll go to the Castle Hotel, or perhaps they'll go to the bakery. I think that the time has come, if we want to push forward for sustainability for tourism in general, that we need to really understand and utilize one of our community's largest assets, which I believe is the visitor center, which currently is very underutilized and is not targeting that which can help us as businesses. And that's the reality.
No problem. Good stuff.
okay. Thank you again, Steve, for that. And
Thanks for the questions. I really appreciate it.
and we can again move back to some of this stuff after lunch. Our next speaker will be Rob McLennan, Castle InfoNet, and for Hillary and Madeline, I think we're going to flip you guys just after the coffee break. So we'll break for coffee after this next presentation, and then we'll go ready with our distinguished guests from Spokane. That's great.
All you gotta do is push the enter button. It's bigger target.
Okay. I used to be able to talk over grace work, so I'm not talking loud enough, somebody to wave at me, okay? I have a tendency to just go right down because I talk to myself more than anybody else. Okay, I'm the president of the Castle InfoNet Society. Ken was formed in 1996 as a modem bank up in the school. And the idea, the issue was that at that time, the 366 or Duncan Lake Exchange had it was a cold call from there down to anywhere actually. So that the intermediate spot was here in Castle, and then it went out from there for your internet. And of course that was dial-up in those days. And anyway, it was set up like that, and it worked like that until 2005. In 2005, the provincial government came in and said that the provincial government, along with TELUS, and they made an agreement with 119 communities would get a seed for internet service in these areas. So anyway, we went from modems to wireless. In 2001, CAP came in, and that time I had retired from aviation, and I was working in computers in the school system. So I was involved in CAP, and I was involved in this situation where all the schools, all the libraries, and all the hospitals in British Columbia were connected to high-speed internet. They're connected to fiber. So fiber was brought into all these 119 communities. And then the trick was to get it out of the community and into the actual people in the community. Get it away from the from the school, the other day from the hospital. If the fiber was there, then you could use it. So we were given a bandwidth area, or bandwidth limit of 10 megabits, which is roughly good for about between 50 and 100 people, or 100 community connections, depending on what happened in the internet. And of course, our mandate at that point was to provide, too fast here. The mandate was to provide equivalent ADSL, 1.5 megabits down, 0.25 up. That was the mandate. That was the situation then, and it's still the situation that we are working from now. However, the 10 megabits that we had was not adequate. And so it took me almost 3 years to get from 10 to 30. We got 30 this year. They tried it once on the 29th of February, and they didn't have all the routing done, and it failed. And so we had to back up and just lost everything for a day, and then back up, and a month later, we were able to get back in, and only took 2 hours at a time to get things done. But at that point, though, really, what the issue is that all these remote communities have no access, or did have no access to the trunk. Okay? There are 3 major trunks across North America. One is just up here up Golden, goes down the Trans-Canada Highway. Another one called May East, which goes to the east, that's go down towards Bellingham, Seattle area, and another one called San Francisco, which goes May West, and that goes that way. And those are trunks of fiber. And when I say trunks of fiber, they're trunks like so. Fiber connection all the way across North America. So anyway, my history. I joined the Air Force when I was 20 in 1960. And I started into electronics training in 1961. And that whole system changed my life. I was an engines guy, car guy. I like cars. So I went into aircraft engines and they said, you do electronics, so I did. So in 1961, you know, choice whether to do it or get out, one of the two. That was it. So anyway, completed my Bachelor of Science in Engineering between 1960s and 70s, operations in the 1980s, because that's what I was doing at that time. I was operations. I looked after all helicopter maintenance for Canadian helicopters on one side, the other side. Then I did my MBA so I could get out and do something real. And anyway, in aircraft electronics and radio communications. So what got into here was just that simply started to tie into computers. But the problem is that nobody really understood what had to happen on the background. Like TELUS, they knew that we didn't have enough bandwidth. They knew that those 120 odd clients that we were connected to didn't have enough bandwidth. But they weren't prepared to put in the infrastructure necessary to give us that background. And it took, well, basically almost 3 years before we got what we need. But the internet began as what it is a network of networks. Okay? There's no one particular part, it's a whole series of parts and pieces. And we're only a small, very, very small part of it. And it just means that we can talk from this computer to some wireless device somewhere in this building to another wireless device, and then it goes on down into its merry way to Marine Corps, to Castle, and down into Upper Oakshire, Saskatchewan, wherever you want to connect. That goes there. It began as a defense initiative in the United States, developed initially by Eisenhower. And at that point, if anybody remembers, so there's a couple of people who got grayer like mine, so I remember 1959, when all of a sudden the Russians shot a rocket up in the air, and that started the space race. That started the communications race, because they had to link all these networks, all these bases together, and everything had to be tied together. So the defense, DARPA, was the defense initiative in the United States. And in the 1990s, that evolved to a free internet communications medium. Free not in the sense of money, you can't get it for nothing, but free in the sense of the tied and broken connections with the American military. The American military still use it, the Canadian military still use it. I was a part of that. So we used it. It's all different. It's all just gone from the 1990s right until you wouldn't recognize what was there and what is here now. And technologies developed internationally. They were applied layer by layer by layer. And it was all transported by the telecom industry. Telephone companies all over the world are the major sponsors of being able to move data from point A to point B to point C. And they want money for it. Where it started out free, now all of a sudden it evolved into an economic medium. But we access it through these trunks. We go from here, like St. Caswell, from here we go out into the harbor, you look out on the highway there, you see the power line going down, there's one cable going down roughly 5/8 inches diameter, that's fiber. There's that one is 32 links, 32 fiber connections that come out of here, actually go right up to the Duck Lake Dam now. That changed after we got our connection in there, and the dam wanted a connection, but they had no way of getting it, except they paid back on the system that, well, basically the provincial government paid for. We paid $20,000 for the connection, and the provincial government paid the rest. And so now there's 32 pairs that run from here down to Nelson. And Nelson's got a regional center. Castlegar is another regional center. The next major one is in Kelowna, somewhat smaller one in Kamloops, and then go down to Vancouver. When we had our problem here in February, was the routing that we had was supposed to take us to Kelowna, but instead it took us to Vancouver. And all the connections down as they went down, anyway, it all tumbled. And 64 different companies went offline because some screw up that somewhere didn't tell us they didn't. I saw the sheet, I saw the worksheet, and there was a whole page was not signed off. So who didn't sign it? I don't know. Anyway, it took us quite a time to get that sorted out. But there are major trusts across North America. MCI, Sprint, AT&T, and TransCanada are the major trunks right now. And that's how we get our connections. So in 1991, the High Performance Computing Act was formed in the United States. That was Al Gore. That was his primary, what do I say? Anyway, besides his, what is it, about the Earth going to hell and the announcement sort of thing. Not conventional. Anyways, that was the two things that he was known for. And at that point in 1993, 4 network access points were sold. They were sold on a auction to different companies in the United States, with the idea that those 4 companies would then set up, create, and connect other network access points all over North America. Now, since then, that's gone worldwide. And there's more internet activity right now going on in Europe and in China and in other areas than there is here. Because we are now considered, we're at the level of being satisfied. The numbers, we're not building beyond that. We're pushing more stuff through it, but we're not building more. But the issue is, everything is provided by the telecom. So we're here at the basis of last mile. In Caswell right here, TELUS provides last mile. Actually, ADSL here in Caswell is how you get your last mile, because they can do it by wire. They can use the telephone wires to provide their service. They can move stuff over those telephone wires. There are losses. Every time you go on copper, you have a loss. So the issue with ADSL is it will run from anywhere between 3 and 5 kilometers. At the end of that 5 kilometers, your losses are so high that you will not perpetuate. So it's got to be built. The last mile is the tough part to build. The ideal way of building it is with fiber. The only problem with fiber, it costs you roughly $7,000 a mile to do it. So, it will outlaw the ability of small provider, a small community, actually get. So the telephone companies have a monopoly, and so they will only bring things into, well, this would be the largest community they would bring in. They would only bring things into this community because they have roughly 1,000 people having telephone, ADSL, whatever other connections, things like that they want. Up until roughly 2 months ago, the biggest ADSL connection you could get here in Castle was 6 megabits. That was it. Now it should be up to 16. I haven't checked to see if it is or not, but it should be up to 16. Cable and cable TV companies came in, and the satellite providers came in, but rural is the last to get service. So unless the community was prepared to actually go and do it, that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Because economically, or Dallas, or any other company, or anything that's not for profit, you just can't do it. It's not economically viable. So we've got these different types of services. The ADSL, which is 1.5 megabits per second. T1, which is another 1.5 megabits per second. That's business. And business T1 is what they call full duplex. It goes both ways at 1.5. Where ADSL is asynchronous, where it goes one way 1.5 and the other way at a quarter, half, whichever happens to be. Those are all based on copper. Satellite services have throughput restrictions. They also have up-down time lags. It takes a quarter of a second for an electron's traveling at 186,000 miles per second. It takes a quarter of a second to get up to the satellite, a quarter of a second to go down. So you have this time lag. There's always that gap in there. And you've got the other option is fiber connection to the home. And again, as I said, it's roughly $7,000 per mile to put in fiber connections. So you figure out how much what it would cost to do that and say, get right here and down. It is good to do. It's not economically viable. So service maybe that we chose was the last mile is radio communications. We chose radio communications. I just happen to have a background in radio communications, so I knew the technology, so we did it. And we use what's called the service band we use is the ISM medium. And that's a free band, low power, low short range, roughly about 15 to 19 kilometers is what maximum range you're going to get it. Industry was at 900. The size is 2.4, medicine is 5.8. We use the 2.4 to make gigahertz range. Now, smart meters are using basically the industry 900. And so those communities who have 900 megahertz signals or radio internet systems are having problems. And then on top of that, hydro, BC hydro, has moved into the 2.4. So people like us who would be serviced by smart meters in this area will interfere with any radio communications on for internet. Nobody's moved into the 5.8 yet. I'll just do one personal vendetta I have on these smart meters is that in North America there are 2 channels that have been set aside by both the Federal Communications Community and Industry Canada for these smart meters to run, which are their own band. They don't interfere with anybody else. That's theirs, and they choose to use these ones because it's cheaper. And that's it. And so the community is paying the price. You're going to pay the price in a lot of communities. So what is bandwidth? A number of people ask me what actually is bandwidth. And basically, it's a number of bits that pass a given point in 1 second. 1.5 megabits is 1.5 million bits per second. When you go into gigabytes and things like this, a byte is 8 bits, and so when you figure out a million billion is a gigabyte, stuff like that. So our mandate was to provide the equivalent to ADSL, and so we have done that. We did that initially, and we've gone past that now. And we're moving as fast as we can make updates and changes and things like this. we're doing it. But again, it's not, who's gonna do it? So throughput is the number of bits over a given period, and tell us that they're a supplier, okay, tell us that they're a supplier, and they charge us on a monthly basis on a very convoluted formula, that's the word I'm looking for, very convoluted formula to give us the rate, the amount of bandwidth that we have coming through here. And so we have to allocate bandwidth and charge on that basis. So we're a non-profit society, and we pass our monthly costs onto our clients now. So the bandwidth is fixed in the network. The throughput is the client variable. Now we can't affect what the people are going to do, but the bandwidth we have, this is what we got, this is what we have to share of. So bandwidth is our biggest single cost of operating. And in our system, we spend roughly 30% of our, just over $3,000 a month just for bandwidth. And that's the only cost that we have other than taxes and GST and all that kind of stuff. That goes out of the community. Everything else stays within that community. So 70% of our revenue, which is right now is roughly $10,000 a month, stays within the community. The rest of it goes to TELUS. So, anyway, so we have 30 megabits in Meadow Creek, we have 30 megabits capacity here at Caswell, we have roughly 260 clients here, and what I've designed for right now is 300 clients. I don't know whether we're going to get that starting, but I bought capacity for 20 more clients this year. Well, I'm down right now, I've only got 8 radios left. So it's going faster than I thought, so I got to redo my budgets and stuff like that. But nonetheless, when they're upgrade to the 30 megs from TELUS, we've managed to get to the point where we're not bumping heads. When it got busy at night, when people were starting to watch the movies and Netflix and the YouTubes and things like that, we were using all the capacity. It was sitting right at 10 megs all the time. Sitting, and I can look and see exactly how much is going through an inch at a time. And I can actually go like subscriber and see much. But nonetheless, we were right on bouncing at that point from about 7 o'clock through to about midnight. And that was it. And then in the morning, of course, it went down and we smooth flying. Now we got 30. And without making any other changes in the system, without doing anything else, we're now running at 12. So there's not much excess capacity required. And it took us almost 2 years to get that done. Almost 2 years to get that done. I get frustrated with doing that. I guess that's it.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
One thing, I spent 30 years in airplanes. My area wasn't there. Okay. I just came back from New York last week, and I got one great head cold. So anyway,
just before you take questions, we're going to allow 5 minutes for questions, and then we're going to break for coffee. Okay? Fair enough.
Bob, are you aware of any other similar organization servicing rural clients that have taken a different approach to bandwidth that somehow circumnavigates this bureaucratic problem you're having getting adequate bandwidth?
No, I haven't. I can probably get a better answer for that next week or whatever exactly when right around the end of March or maybe I'll be down at the conference on this broadband association, PC Broadband Association. But generally speaking, all the clients all the societies that are set up, whether they're for-profit or not-for-profit, are all using the same trunks. And that's what you want to use. Right. How you access those trunks, then you're broken down into 3 different areas. One through satellite, one through TELUS, and one through cable. That's it. Right. Those are the only gates, or TELUS, I shouldn't say just TELUS, Telecom. Those are the only gates in the United States are using what was what we know now is old style wireless, and it runs at roughly 900. And they're using it in communities, but still the base is coming to those trunks. Right. That's it. And how you access those trunks then you determine where you are. Like TELUS is here in British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, which they have their own system, things like that.
To what extent is that $3,000 per month a fixed or a variable cost? And I guess the way I would like to put the question is to say, if you went to 500 clients, what would be the degree of change in the $3,000 a month you're paying TELUS?
That is the variable that goes directly with the clients.
So it's 100% variable.
I've looked at that right from the day zero. The first time we're starting up here, in 2006 is when we first got our connection in Meadow Creek. And as people started coming on, I can plot that exactly. Okay. And also plot it from the perspective of the more services come on. And we are, basically, this is a communications medium. Okay? And every communications medium since, right from the start, has always been used for communications first and entertainment second. And more entertainment goes on until it loses its initial mandate and it becomes an entertainment medium more than a communications medium. We're started as this area network, and that was purely communications. So that this base would talk to that base, and this base would talk to, so they all communicate no matter what happened. And that's what the internet was, and that's really the base of the internet. However, we've got Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, we got 35 different social medias. We've got all the different things like Netflix, and one of the things that we'd be looking at is if we can get enough bandwidth, we could bring television into this whole area. Television over internet. But you'd have to have 100 megabits to do that, which I was talking to TELUS yesterday about. How do we get 100 megabits into this area? And to be able to do these things. But we've lost the communications based on this. Now it's an entertainment medium, just like television was initially communications.
Well, I was wondering, when people come to town and they just want to open their laptop and pick up that wireless signal, there are places here that they can do that, but it's not.
It's not universal. The bakery has a hotspot inside. We had a hotspot on top of our roof there for a while. But the problem was that it's not going to be polite to say that people would start to game the system. And the way we had it set up, as soon as somebody started to game the system, it would shut down. Because otherwise...
Because you need people to pay for the system.
Well, no, this was free. This was free, but they were just gaming. And trying to do all kinds of things with it, all kinds of things that would lose our connection with TELUS. So we just disappeared it. And even the system was down at the Meadow Creek Hall. We had to put a hotspot ticket system in there because people were just going up and open access. They could download wherever they wanted, they could upload wherever they wanted. And there were places that we've had, and we still get this, clients who have will download things on the internet and attach those things on low-made botnets, which are basically robot systems, which will work inside your computer and try to attach to somebody else's computer, and somebody else can send malicious software. I'll just say it that way. So all these things are there. So we have to put firewalls and guards on stuff like that so they don't get into our network. And when they start seeing these things in client networks, then we have to contact that person and say, hey, you've got something going on here. mean, if it doesn't get fixed, we just turn them off, we have to.
Is there any way of partitioning the communications from the entertainment stuff?
Yeah.
Is there a way of partitioning?
There isn't. There isn't. You could theoretically do so, but the way the internet works is that every node, every computer, everything on the network has a particular address, what's called an internet protocol address. And so we have a particular, in here in Castle, we have, or actually in Meadow Creek, we have an octet. We have another octet here. And that's 254 addresses. And we tell who's on each one of those addresses. We have to know who's on each address. So, but we can't block anywhere below that. I can block yours, or I can block Deborah's, but I can't go to the supplier, you know, like somebody's sending something out, I can't go there and block them. So that's it. We can only block within our address range, that's all. We can only deal with what's in our address range.
Okay, everybody got the questions in for the most part? I think we'll now break